Okay, so now is the part where I stop talking and let you all sort of workshop, bring up any concerns you have, any questions for other members, anything you've done that's worked really well that you want to share, or something that you've struggled with. Yeah, does anyone have any burning questions that they brought today?
Oh, I don't. We're just going through here. We're just going through a CBGD grant. Everything's going pretty good. It looks like we might be able to get money for doing the final blacktop course on our streets and getting all our electrical work doing for our putting new street lights in the whole park and upgrading every entrance to every home in the park, and new entrance, the whole entrance cables into the park from the electrical entrances. So it looks like we might be getting some good upgrades to our park this coming couple years.
Leo, can I ask you, where Ron Palmer, Lakeville Village, looking into an upgrade for the street lights as well. Can you give me a rundown on what you purchased, why you purchased them, the energy efficiency type thing?
No, we haven't purchased anything yet. We're going to go with we thought about solar, but then we turned that down, and we're just going to go with LED lights.
Is that through like NYSEG or National Grid or anything?
Yeah, it'll be through NYSEG.
Okay. Now they have the lamps, they have everything. Is it come in like a package?
We've looked at several things yet, but we haven't agreed on anything yet.
Okay.
We have to put the whole thing up for bid, and we're still looking into everything as far as that goes.
Now, with your research, is the LED the most energy efficient that you found so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. By far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate your help.
Yeah.
That's right, because some folks own, because Ron, at Lakeville, you guys don't own the light posts, or am I misremembering?
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't, but that's something that may change because we're under an old program.
Oh.
And I haven't done a lot of research with it. I have a fella that I pointed to because he has a background in the electrical, and the initial reports from him are that we have the older lights, and it looks like we could save between $3,000 and $4,000 a year by changing up to a more energy efficient system. So I guess we'd have to take a look at what what the initial costs are, and installation and apparatus and that type of thing to see. But just from an energy efficiency standpoint, I guess it would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because I think most everybody else owns the light posts and the
National Grid, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyone else have something they want to share? It doesn't have to be a question. It could be sort of an update.
Well, we're still going through transition of management companies, and that always creates semi-chaos. So there's always problems. Hopefully we'll get through it in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Anyone else here? The rest of you have all had the same manager since you converted, is that right?
Yes. Brittany has.
Yeah.
This is our third one.
Oh, wow.
It can be hard to get get good help out there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a lot of issues in the beginning. I guess it was more so growing pains with our property management company, but they've been stepping up to the plate. You know, I think it was just one of those things we had to get used to each other. So
That's a good point. So maybe I'll ask this question. Does anyone have something they felt like really worked for them and their board in terms of like clearly establishing roles and responsibilities, or like lines of communication, or things that didn't work so well, so they switched to a new thing?
well,
Yeah, Patty.
yeah, we a couple of different times, I would say, we sat down with the president of our property management company, as well as whoever was assigned to our community, kind of as an assistant property manager. And really, what we found out is we being the board, was putting more into trying to do research and get prices and various different things that we shouldn't have been doing. We should have been relinquishing. So I think it was a learning curve on our part, and if we were willing to do it, they were willing to let us. And you know, I think it was just we sat down and kind of had a little powwow, and things have been good.
Didn't you have a contract that spelled all that stuff out?
You know, we did. However, I think it was just, you know, we just felt as though we were doing it for ourselves, and being resident owned and wanting to use local vendors, and I think it was just a matter of sitting down and having open communication and letting them know what it was we want, what we were looking for, and things have been okay.
Yeah, that's good.
That is true. Sometimes it says it in the contract, but what says in the contract is not what's happening in real life, not necessarily through anyone's specific, you know, shortcoming, but I think a communication of roles and responsibilities for sure. Yeah.
I think you have to be
Molly, this is Jan. I think one of the things we're trying to do is getting people involved, volunteers. We're having difficulties on, with that for one reason or another. You have the same ones over and over, and they're kind of getting a little worn out. So we're trying to come up with some ideas to hopefully get more people involved. How does everybody else do it?
That is the number one. So what works for folks? What have you seen work well? Just getting your members engaged.
You try to get people.
I guess everybody's got the same problem.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But I think everyone has different things that work that they tried out. So sorry, Joanne.
I think if people made an effort to come to the meetings, even the ones online, it would be much better. But rarely, maybe one shows up and they don't even stay for the whole thing. So, and then they complain about what's going on, but
yeah,
it's frustrating.
We had a lot that showed up at the meetings, but they just don't volunteer. When we ask the volunteers, it goes dead.
In this month's newsletter, which hasn't gone out yet, but will in the next couple of days, one of the things that people will read in there is, if you're not going to be part of the solution, don't complain. You have no right. And
good girl, Patty.
And I figured, being we just had an inauguration, I said a play on words is ask not what your rock can do for you, but what you can do for your rock.
I like that.
There's a pile of words.
Is anybody on the call from Cateros? Do they want to talk about the survey?
No one's here from Cateros.
Okay. Well, I thought they had an interesting approach. The survey you know, and then getting people to kind of commit to helping plan stuff. Yeah.
Do you want to tell a little bit about that, John? Because you were involved in that.
Sure. Yeah, Cater Us had a really cool survey that was asking people if they'd be interested in helping with the feral cat committee, or, you know, the after school club, or the board game, you know, or the showing movies in the community room, that kind of thing. And nobody did the survey. It was very discouraged. So they've kind of decided that they're going to knock on people's doors and call them up. So I helped them go door to door one day, and it looks like, I don't know, Molly, I think maybe we heard a yes on phone banking. So we're, you know, one way to engage people is let them know in your newsletter, like Patty is saying, and here are the opportunities, but then knock on their doors and say, hey, what do you want to sign up? You know, what would you be interested in? Here's 12 things. And then following up with people to get them to help with the planning. And, you know, if half the people that say yes actually show up and 20 people say yes, then you've got 10 volunteers for your committee, and maybe 2 of those people on the committee are future board members.
Sounds good.
So I'm available if anybody wants to knock on doors or call around. There's ways that we can all call together.
Sometimes I wonder if people really understand what they belong to, that they're owners of, you know, their community. Sometimes I've only been here 5 years, but it just seems they expect everybody to do things for them instead of, you know, being part of the community. Maybe it's just me, but, you know, doesn't seem things have changed since they became a co-op. That's only me.
Sounds like humans.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about feral cats. I've trapped 6 cats in the last 2 weeks here.
Oh,
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I see one more today.
What do you do with them?
3 of them were kittens, and one person here in our community took them, and they're going to get them fixed. And the other 3, I have a friend that has a big dairy farm, and
Oh, good.
took them to his dairy farm, and he took them.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Lena, what would you do if one of those, the cats belonged to a member?
That's too bad.
Well,
Just
you guys
asking.
have a rule, don't you, Leo? Like no outdoor cats? I mean,
They're not supposed to be outdoors.
yeah, that's us too. My cats are indoor only.
Yep. That's our rule. Indoor cats only. If they're outdoors, you know what? You know, if you see them day after day after day after day, you know they're not house cats. You know. So, well, we have 85 trailers here, so you know the people that have indoor cats and outdoor cats. It's not like we have, you know, 150 trailers here, and you don't know. We pretty much know our neighbors. We know who has cats. You know, so if I saw a cat, I would probably recognize if it was an indoor cat. But some people in different places might not recognize, you know, there was somebody else's cat inside. But here we would.
Could I ask a member engagement question to everybody? So everybody here is on the board. How did you guys get recruited to get on the board? What worked for each of you?
I've been on the board since we bought the park. I was part of the plan or the board when we were buying it, and I was the operations director at that time, and then I took over. I pretty much like, I mean, our park, I consider our park as the whole family type. You know, what's good for our park. I've been to probably 2 or 3 parks. I've been to like 4 or 5 kids for every community buying their own.
Dennis, you're breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure.
Says his bandwidth isn't good enough.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah.
One of the things that, as far as board members go, that I've been on the board here several years now, and haven't had any problem with when we get for someone who wants to make a suggestion, i.e. a complaint, I invite them to be on the board. Patty made a great point that, you know, anyone can be part of the problem, but it's important you're part of the solution. And one of the things as a board, we've come together over the last year or so, and it's not obtrusively. I don't want to sound like we're a dictatorship, because that's not it at all. But it's the situation that if you have a problem, if there's something to talk about, I want you to come with a solution too. Here's what we think should be done. Now, we may not do that. It may be, but, and that has changed the whole complexion of the park as far as participation. Because folks know that if they come with, you know, with a concern, they have to have a fix. And so it really has, in the last couple of years, really changed the thought process. And we've had several folks that have passed away, and new folks have come in who, fortunately, one was a retired restaurant owner, knows finance. One is a construction worker. He was an inspector on a construction site out of upstate. And so, you know, we're picking up people that that are able to contribute to the community as a whole. The restaurant owner actually came on the board as the assistant treasurer, so that was wonderful. And the fella that does the construction said that he's in the wings. Anything that we need, he's happy to help. So I think the more we know our community, and the more we know what each person does or has done, whatever talents that they have, don't hesitate to call them. Even if you already have someone, try to get them involved. And that's worked out pretty well for us. So and if you don't mind, I have another question, as long as everybody's here, and I'd like your input. We have 2 separate areas. One's more of a parking area on the front of the facility, and on the back of the property, we actually have a storage area where folks keep their RVs and boats and things in the off. Do you have, individually, do you have parking / storage, first of all, requirements or disclaimers? that you have folks sign if you have those facilities at your park?
No, we don't have facilities.
You don't have any, okay.
No,
We
at Brittany. Yeah.
We do. We have a small lot for RVs and boats. It has to belong to a resident and it has to be registered.
Okay.
And there is a charge, monthly charge. I can't remember what it is. Not that much, but I don't have any.
One of the things that we found, because I went to the insurance company, and again, I'm in the middle of setting this up, so please bear with me as we talk through this, and I appreciate your help. When I talked to the insurance company, I was just gonna want to put up signs that say not responsible for lost, stolen, blah, blah, blah. And the insurance, the writer said the first question was, do you charge for this area? Well, we said, no, if you're a resident, then you don't have to, you don't have to pay. We don't, we don't rent out storage. He said in New York State, he said that then that completely relieves you of liability.
Yeah.
If you charge, it changes the whole thing. But if you don't charge for that area, then the law tends to run with it being a residential perk.
Huh. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, so I did go on, what was it? It was a website, New York State Storage Lease, whatever, and cut and paste an agreement for anyone that was back there, because we certainly don't, I guess it's an extra cover and liability, but
I'll have to check it out. We only have one RV in there, and that's the president of the board, so I'll check with her. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can, like I said, our insurance company that
Yeah.
we checked with, and then I went online and took a look at it. But I was just wondering what everybody else does with that, if there's any further way of mitigating the liabilities that perhaps I didn't see. So
I don't know. I don't know. I
Well,
don't
we
know
have-
the details.
We have it in our rules. We have it in our rules that any extra cars, trailers, boats, RVs, all that goes in the overflow, and you are responsible for everything that you put over there. That's right in our bylaws and rules.
okay. Do you charge for that? Do you charge in that overflow area? No? Okay.
No, you're totally responsible for anything you put over there, but it has to go over there because it's in our rules that it can't be at your home.
Okay.
Now, talking about bylaws and rules, we wanted to go over ours and change some of them. So we sent a letter out to all the people, because that's the complaints we get most of all from the rules and bylaws. Nobody responded about any changes, what they
Wow.
wanted. So what do you do about that?
Change them.
Yeah, then they'll just complain about them.
No, you can't.
Are all of your parks, we're over 55, are all of your parks that way, or?
Brittany Terrace is.
Yeah.
Ours is stated, but it's an 80% cap, as long as 80% of the people are over 55.
In total? You mean for the total park, or, yeah,
Yeah.
85%?
Here's a situation for you on ours. They voted to go, our membership voted to go 55 plus. Okay? It's been 4 months. I've only got 17 people that will give me their IDs. I cannot verify that our park is 55 until I have all the IDs of everybody in the park. So everybody keeps saying, are we 55 plus? And I tell them, no. I cannot verify that this park is 55 plus because people will not give me their IDs until it tells me in the instruction that I have to verify everybody in the park's age to get the 80-20%. If I cannot verify by the IDs that we have the 80%, then I cannot legally say that this is a 55 plus park.
Wouldn't that be posted on the original application though?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well, the Woodlands, where Leo is president, actually has historically been an all ages park that has skewed to fit towards just naturally towards 55 plus. Leo, correct me if I say anything wrong here, but so they recently voted to officially designate as 55 plus, providing that they meet that threshold, as you said, Leo. But then, and I'm thinking Patty and others at Brittany Terrace might have some insight, because you all have always been 55 plus, but you had to like certify it. Am I right?
Yes, it was advertised basically by the former owners of the community that it was 55 and over, but it was never done legally, basically. So we went through, and Molly, feel free to share, you know, whatever you would like. But we set up 4 days, maybe 2 or 3 hours each day, and we had committee members that would sit in our office, and we would say, okay, home numbers 1 through 20 show up on such and such a day. And we had already given out, it's a HOPA form, Housing Older Persons Act, I guess it is. And we told them with the instructions, with filling them out, come up, we can make copies and things like that. And we got, oh, I don't know, I would say 95% that showed up.
Yes.
We did well.
Right.
Don't hear it. We sent notices out. We did everything. But we were originally, when this park was formed, it was all age. And then it wasn't until last year that the park voted to go 55 plus. So originally it was all ages. So
Leah, would it help if we shared with you what we put out via email and just posted for those without computers, just to see if there's anything in there that might help you?
it was on our message board over at our mailbox for 3 weeks, and nobody responded for 3 weeks.
No.
And we sent it through the mail through our management company to everybody in the park, and that's when I got 15 more people that gave me their. And then a lot of people says, you have no right. And then a lot of people says, well, you already got it. When we moved in the park, a lot of the new people, I says, no, that information has to be destroyed. We do not keep that information for when you did your background check and stuff. That information has to be destroyed. We do not keep that information. So we have no record of your birthday when you moved into the park. Oh, it's just been a hassle. No, nobody wants to do it. They want it 55, but they don't want to give up their IDs. They think it's you know, going against their right to have to share their birthday. I'm not kidding. Here these people do. It's crazy.
Do you think they feel that they'll be put out because they're not 55?
No,
Just for silly.
no,
Okay.
no, they don't.
Oh, that's good.
It's not that. It's just, I don't know. I guess they feel that they don't have to give their birth date out.
How else do they feel like they can prove their age?
By telling me. Really? I've had people tell me, this is my birthday. I says, I can't accept that.
No. Now, if they went to motor vehicles, they wouldn't accept that, right?
No,
DMV?
no. That's crazy. It is, really. You
Oh,
wouldn't,
Leo, come on now.
you
I'm
wouldn't,
33.
you wouldn't believe it.
I'm
I
only 20.
had a couple of women tell me, I'm not going to give you my picture of my driver's license because I don't want you to see the picture.
Oh,
A passport or something, you know, it's crazy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know. We just keep trying. I just keep everybody I see, hey, you know, when if you get a chance, you know, can you drop your ID off to me? Yeah.
Do you have a, like, it has to be in by this date and that's it, or
We
it's gonna
told
be dropped?
We told
You've tried that too?
I haven't kind of got myself, I could have got myself in trouble because I even put it here last month, I put it in a newsletter that if you didn't respond in so many days that we were gonna do away with it. And legally I can't do that,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I put that in there and it didn't work either.
Does your property management company have any suggestions for you? No.
No.
I think what worked really well with what you all did at Brittany Terrace, Patty, is having those like days and times where you were sitting there, because you were sitting there with like a copier, am I right, or something like that? So I know it's totally annoying, but sometimes you have to like eliminate as many possible barriers to people or like annoyances as you can in order to get them to do what you need.
Yes.
Unfortunately, right now, something like that is hard to pull off safely.
Right.
Then there's a lot of them say, hey, we'll just wait till we can have a meeting and have a revote, maybe do away with it. And I says, yes, but I still have to pursue this 55 because it's been voted in by the community. So I still have to keep plugging away and try to get.
you can always threaten them that if they don't do it, the rent is going to go up. That's just a suggestion. That'll always affect their pocketbook.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yep.
Yeah. I might have to do that.
Yeah. Somehow people listen to that.
Oh, they sure do. Yeah, that's what they always say. Money talks.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Especially when it has to come out of their pocketbook.
that's right. Yeah. On to the next.
Anybody else?
Hey, Miss Molly, could you speak, I just want to get a better handle on that, the program that ROC is doing for people who were affected by COVID. Yeah, and because I got the email and I was gonna help some people with that. So does it cover just the homeowner, or if there's somebody else within the home that works too? What does it cover?
So it's if anyone in the household has a COVID diagnosis, they can go to that website and it's like a sub page of ROC USA. And I think it's nothing it's not a ton of money. I think it's 1 month of rent is what they'll cover. Or maybe if it's like an extreme situation where someone is hospitalized or, you know, they might do more. But all you have to do is live in a resident-owned community and have a doctor's note, some written proof that you or someone in your household's been diagnosed with COVID. It could just be like a positive test. It doesn't need to be like hospitalization or something really terrible. And I have heard of a few folks in New York getting it. So I think it's pretty easy. They just send the check right to your property manager to put in your bank account.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good.
Anybody got the shot?
No, we're waiting in New Windsor.
Oh, Patty, you did?
You do? Wow.
Good.
Yes, I did. My daughter and son-in-law are teachers, and my daughter called me early last Monday morning, and she said that right near her school, one of the county buildings was opening up that day for appointments, or that week for appointments. So she gave me the website to get right on, and both Roger and I got the vaccination, and then I called Tom and Louise and told them get on the website. They got it. We called somebody else. So there was probably about 6 or so people in the community was able to get it at that site.
Oh,
Wow.
great.
Yes, and now our it's in our newsletter for this, that'll go out this week. The town of New Windsor, which is what Rock Tavern is a hamlet of, they have volunteers all set up, a space all set up. They have EMTs and nurses to volunteer. Now all they need is the vaccine, but starting today, they were taking names for people to call in, and as soon as they've got the vaccines, they'll call those people right in.
Oh, wow.
Patty, do you have a shortage over there? Erie County has a shortage.
Yes, we do.
They do? Okay.
Yes, yes,
We do.
yes. I was very fortunate. The day that we got it, they had gotten 1,000 vials, I guess, and they gave us the appointment for 4 weeks to get the second one.
Good for you.
So very fortunate.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And I know most everyone here knows this, but the New York State, like the state-run COVID rent relief is still open for like the next week. I think it's till the 1st. Is that next Monday? Maybe.
The second, I think, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'm sure you all have blasted that information to all your residents already. But it's the last week that folks can apply for that rent relief. Did that answer your question, Beth?
Yes.
And John put the link in the chat. Thank you, John. So if you open the chat tab, you can just copy paste that right into your browser for the Rock USA version.
Is anybody doing any Zoom in their community?
Yeah, we have our finance meetings, and then actually tomorrow we have our actual board meeting, and anyone in the community who wants to sit in on it as a community meeting, we'll send them a link.
Did you set up?
Yeah, we've been having them that way the last, what, Molly, 3 or 4 months.
Oh, yeah, maybe more. I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe April or June, May.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I
we
think most everybody does some version of
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that.
Leo, is that something the Woodlands are considering?
I just put it in a newsletter. We like to try a community Zoom.
Yeah.
I put it into, if anybody's interested in the community to send me their email so we can set up a list of how many people would be interested in doing it.
I think that's a great idea. Whatever way we can sort of reach out and share information right now is important.
Can anybody answer how much does it cost for like an annual subscription or whatever to Zoom?
Actually, the first 40 minutes is free.
Oh, okay.
And then, I don't think it's that much money. Let me Google it.
I think you're limited to how many people on the free one. It's the first 4 minutes free, and I can't remember how many people.
Because we always get on the Ring Central with Molly, and Molly gets all of that information out to the residents, and we post it. And our property manager, they've got the subscription or whatever to Zoom. They can have up to like 100 people. So we just kind of piggyback, be it the Ring Central of Molly's or the Zoom that our property manager has. We haven't gotten any type of a subscription. Oh, okay.
Don says he pays $9.99 a month.
Okay.
It's actually like 15 a month, but you can get a deal if you pay for a year. If you pay for a year, you get basically like 2.5 months free.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be a good idea for us for like building committees going forward, because I don't think this pandemic's going to end anytime soon.
Yeah, and I think that some folks have found that people who are more, like, even in typical times, homebound, or they find it difficult to get around, or they're just not comfortable going to a big meeting. I think that some people have even seen like more engagement from their membership with this as an option. I mean, more so in the beginning when it was a little more novel, maybe. But I think that there's potential to continue to use this as a form of connecting, even into the future. That's just my prediction.
Yeah, can Zoom be used just as a phone call, just like Ring Central as well?
Yes, yep. Zoom and Ring Central are exactly the same, except for some reason they're named something else, but they work exactly the same as far as I can tell. Yeah.
Okay, we have many community members that don't have access to computers.
Right. Yeah. So, and I think the difference is Zoom is actually, I think you can have a toll-free option, which Ring Central you don't have. So that would be a benefit for folks who who are restricted to certain minutes and certain things like that.
Okay.
I'll have to check into the aspects of it, but I believe according to like ours, we go by Robert's rules, and according to Robert's rules, you can vote by internet.
Yeah, right. As long as you can hear and be heard. That's pretty much the standard.
Yeah.
That would be one way for us to do a lot of our voting and stuff on changing the bylaws and rules. And
yeah, if you can get a quorum of your membership onto Zoom, then you're good to go.
If we got, I think, still have to have a quorum, or
Correct.
you could get enough. You could get enough people in it, interested.
Yeah.
Might be able to do it that way.
Yeah. And that's another thing that Brittany Terrace, you guys had you got a quorum at your virtual annual meeting. Yeah. So that was great. I think, and to your credit, I think you gave a lot of options for people to practice and try logging on. I think that really helped people build their comfortability, folks who had never tried it before or anything.
Yes, and kudos to Molly for helping us do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Anyone else? Dennis, do you have, I think you're a little bit more, although now I can't tell. Are you frozen? I was gonna say, I feel like we cut you off. Maybe, oh.
No, I don't know if I'm going through good or not, but
Yeah, that's so, you sound kind of like a robot. It just sounds like very, very garbled. I'm not sure why, because you've definitely done these before with no problem. Sometimes if that's happening to me, if I turn off the
must be the sound that's not good.
Yeah. Not too bad. That is the downside to technology. It never quite works exactly how you want.
I don't know.
Feedback from something.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything or a topic they want to circle back to that we didn't get a good resolution on? Patty?
Yeah, Ron, I was thinking when you were asking about storage or parking or anything, just something, we don't have any storage here for, and we don't allow like motor vehicle or other trailers or boats or anything like that. But each driveway can handle usually about 2 cars. So what we've done is we do have a little bit of visitor parking around the community. So if somebody has a 3rd car that they need to use that visitor parking for, we charge $25 a month.
Okay,
So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
thank you.
You're welcome.
We let people, the board has agreed to let a few people park in our empty lots that have no trailers on them through the winter, because in our rule bylaws, it says that everybody has 2 parking spaces. And a lot of the places in here don't have 2 parking spaces. Well, they voted not to let anybody park in the empty lots due to insurance reasons and all that stuff. And when I became president, I talked to insurance people and they said, well, because a branch could fall on a car and all this stuff. And they wanted the people to park over in the overflow areas. And I said, what's worse, having them park over there and having them walk through the streets that have no street lights, or fall and break a leg on the ice and all that stuff? Why not let them park during the winter in our empty lots? So the board voted to let anybody that doesn't have enough parking space for 2 cars at their place to let them park in the overflow during the winter. So that's what we've done for the winter, is to let them park in the empty lots that don't have trailers on them for the winter.
And I will say, and Ron, you're like the king of this, I feel like, but asking your insurance provider, if you just even have a little, like, something in the back of your head saying, I wonder what could happen, they're good at thinking about what's the worst case scenario and how can we help you prepare for it. So, and they want to help you protect yourself, because in protecting yourself, you're protecting their, payout, their potential payout. So yeah, just a plug for talking to your insurance provider there.
There's all kinds of riders in our bylaws and stuff that protect us against that,
Yeah.
So I can't see why they, I'd rather have them park there than walk through the park during the winter. That was the board's feeling. So that was just a thought.
And I'll just say about member engagement really quickly while I'm on my soapbox, why not? I think that it's really, like, what I've seen work the best is like meeting people wherever they are. So that's not always, in fact, almost always, that's not like ready to be the president of the board or on the board at all, right? But it's like, maybe that person likes gardening. Like, would they be interested in doing some gardening around the sign you have out front? Like, my opinion is, if you can, like, get your hooks into someone, get them involved in being a part of the community in a way that they think is fun and that they would do, of their own volition. And then they feel, like Joanne, you were saying, that feeling of being a part of a co-op that you feel like is sometimes missing. So if people are all contributing their own little bit, I think, maybe this is naive, I think that helps them see themselves as part of a whole, which then I think is like a stairway to greater involvement. But I'm curious what you all think about that.
I agree. This is Jan. Patty and I are going to work on that with our people, right, Patty?
Yeah, we sure are. Yes. Yes, Jan is hoping to step down from the secretary position in the near future and give somebody else a shot at it, and
Herbie's leaving me.
and work We won't leave you hanging, Margie.
I'm leaving.
Oh, no.
I'm done.
And working on stronger committees going forward for the same reason, like you said, Molly, you know, once people become involved, you know, maybe being on the board won't be such a, you know what I'm trying to say, that they
Yeah,
wouldn't be afraid
daunting,
of it, you
yeah,
know?
right, yeah.
So
We
hopefully,
started,
got it started and in good shape, you know, for somebody else to, you know, take over each year, you know, at least with one position.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Joanne, sorry.
we started a social committee that has been doing a lot of like craft nights and, you know, what they like to do. And it's nice, you know, and I've gotten to meet people that I haven't met before, and you become more friendly with everyone.
How do you do that with COVID
Well, we're not doing much now.
right now? Okay, okay.
No. But before, we actually just started it, so hopefully we'll be able to start it back up.
But that's a good point. It's like, once you have that relationship with someone, I think it's also easier to ask them, like, hey, can you help? I can't think of anything. Can you help do this thing that I can't think of? You know, and then instead of being a stranger asking for their time, you're like that person that they knit with at the social committee meetings or whatever, you know?
Well, they also now they're doing social distancing fundraisers, like if anybody wants to do a 50-50 raffle, or they're raising money to do things for our community center. You know, we have a lot of work to do on that, so.
Yeah, it looks like we lost Sherry from Meadow Valley, but Meadow Valley has like an annual garage sale where everybody donates and then all the proceeds go back to the social committee.
Right.
So there's lots of cool things you can do like that.
They've even cashed in bottles and cans and made quite a bit of money, actually. So just a few things you could do without getting together.
All right.
I asked before about the 55 and older because it seems like our park is only 44 units, so it seems like most people, a lot of people now, the biggest percentage are more toward the older end. And I think that's harder too to get, you know, volunteers. They just don't have, you know, the energy to do it.
Yep.
And we've lost quite a few too, you know, and I think that's hard. You don't have too many near the 55, including me. Nowhere near 55.
Yeah, we're about to lose 2 here in probably in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough when you make it that age.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, though. I think especially, I mean, on the one hand, folks are generally retired, so they might have more time.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, yeah, less energy, or maybe they're not as comfortable with technology, which is becoming increasingly important, or, you know,
And,
yeah.
you
So
know, a
there's
lot
certainly
more
challenges
illness.
with both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at the geographical location too. Like, I don't think our area is geographically located where we should be 55 plus. We don't have that big of a growth area, I don't think, for making it 55 plus. Like a lot of your areas, the population, you know, you have the big population areas where we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much housing going up around here where they combine one payment for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like $1,500 pays for your rent, your utilities, and everything. You don't have to mow. You don't have to shovel your sidewalk, you don't have to do nothing. Or if you move in here, you gotta mow your lawn, you gotta shovel your sidewalk, you gotta shovel your driveway. Because we don't provide any of that. Even the 55 plus, we don't provide that here.
Right.
So it's tough. But I'll shut up.
You're right, though.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I think is good, like during COVID, I mean, so many people did, they lost jobs and income and benefits and so forth. And here in a 55 plus, and I mean, most people here are 65 plus for the most part. And, they've got steady income, at least, their retirements or their social security or whatever. So it really didn't affect BT Inc., rent wise.
Right.
So, yeah, so that was a plus with being 55 plus for us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to stick around, but I want to notice that it's 7:01. So I thank you all for your time. Yeah, I just
thank you, Molly.
I enjoy these so much. So thanks everyone for coming and sharing your wisdom.
It's very,
Yeah, thank you.
awesome. Love seeing
Thank you.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Nice seeing you.
Good night.
Thanks, Molly, and everybody.
Thank you, Molly.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Molly.
Thanks for coming.
Hey.